Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Womansplain. Today, we have a very special guest, Charlotte Cruze. She's the co-founder and COO of an exciting new mushroom brand called Alice Mushrooms, focused on your health and wellness. I'm going to pass it over to her to give a little intro, and we'll dive into her background.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much for coming on. We're so excited to have you.
We're so excited.
I'm so happy to be here. So Alice Mushrooms was a great intro. We make functional mushroom chocolate supplements, which is literally a mouthful, pun intended. But we have 5 different chocolates, one for sleep, one for focus and energy, one for sexual wellness, one for stress relief, and then a mood and party chocolate that is our take on like the non-alcoholic space, but with a chocolate.
Oh, cool.
So we've got 5 chocolates out there. We essentially really believe in the concept of food as medicine, and the bioavailability is so much higher when you actually eat your supplements than if you take them in a capsule, pill, or gummy form even. So we love chocolate. Also, it's just indulgent and it's delicious. And like your daily routine should be something you look forward to and not something you have to like choke down. And the really unique thing about us is we formulate using functional mushrooms with nootropics and botanicals. So functional mushrooms are amazing for your long-term health. You have to take them daily for an extended period of time for them to kick in. And then the nootropics and the botanicals actually work right away. So that kind of scratches your instant gratification itch. So we call it like our now and later approach to well-being.
Wow. I love that. Well, I have a lot of questions about the product, but would love to start with kind of your background.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your background. What did you study in college and where did you start out your career?
Yeah. In college, I was kind of all over the place. I did like the major you do when you don't know what you're doing, which was American Studies.
And you went to UVA? You went
I
to
went to
UVA?
UVA, yeah. Go Who's. I loved it. I loved my major so much. But it basically just let me do like literature, art, film. I did like a lot of film stuff. And like my equivalent of my thesis was on The Godfather. So like that's what I did.
Wait, that's so cool.
That's so cool.
like a film analysis or like
Yeah.
its impact in American.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had this amazing professor, shout out Professor Little. He did these like classes where you would do a lot of like gangster film or just he loved like I took a class on Breaking Bad with him, and you would essentially like dive into these and then analyze them through like Freudian psychology, or like we did a lot on Breaking Bad of like how puritanical ideology informed like character motives in Breaking Bad. It was really interesting.
Very cool.
It's a very
Yeah, it's honestly sick.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
great class.
All right. Like, should I go back? Okay, amazing. So
Yeah.
then you graduated from UVA and you started your career, I think, in media, right? So how
Yeah.
did Joe tell us how you kind of ended up there?
Yeah, I mean, my minor was in media studies, like because I did
cool.
a lot of film and stuff like that. I really thought I wanted to be in hard news.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
That was what my mom did, so I was like,
Really?
yeah, that
okay.
was just,
She musing? Was she like?
no, she was a producer,
Okay.
so behind the scenes, but she was a producer for 40 years.
That's really cool.
So I just like grew up like news was, and all of her friends were in news, so it was
Yeah.
just like felt like that's what you do when you grow up, you know.
Mhm.
Kind of a dream job, I will say.
It was great. It wasn't for me though.
Yeah.
Which I learned pretty quickly. But my kind of like fun fact is that my first job out of college was at NBC in Washington.
Wow.
And did you guys watch the Today Show growing up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Remember the segment that, I mean, they still do it. Al Roker does it now, but it used to be this guy Willard Scott, and it was the 100-year-old birthdays.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and it's a Smucker's segment, and it's like
I
wishing.
don't know. Roker always did that.
No, he started doing it in 2016.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So before that, it was Willard. Willard was the original Bozo the Clown, actually.
Oh my god, that's so
Wow.
funny.
And he was like the country's first like weatherman kind of guy.
Okay.
So he was like before Al Roker was Al Roker, was Willard Scott. And Willard did this segment wishing the 100-year-old happy birthday, put them on the Smucker's jar. My first job out of college was producing that segment. So
That's
I
so
would
cool.
That's
I
honestly
would
really
like
cool.
read all of the applications from the centenarians or their family and like pick which ones that we liked, and I'd write the scripts and I'd go film them with Willard and then like cut them and put them on air, which was like the silliest first job ever.
I mean, kind of like a life, I don't know. I will say it kind of has a health connection though. Like I know it's
Totally.
super random, but you're like obviously interviewing people like how they lived and why they lived to
Yeah.
100. And to a point in 100 where they can like be on television, like
Yeah.
healthy, right?
Well, it was like a photo.
Okay.
And you would get some photos that you were like, ma'am, I cannot put this on TV. Like, you should not have sent me that.
You're like my eyes.
You should have taken a photo from like 10 years ago. Okay. But it was funny, like something that I mean, this is just me personally too. Like I always pick the people because we'd ask in the form, like, what's your secret to longevity? And I always pick the people that were like a glass of scotch every night or
That's
like
amazing.
whatever it is. But you'd be surprised how many people put like vices.
Mhm.
And I think that actually does say something about how healthy living and longevity isn't about depriving yourself or being so strict. Like it's about living your life and like doing what feels good. Not in excess, obviously, but
Mhm.
yeah.
that
Yeah,
makes
no,
sense.
absolutely.
So you were there for how long?
I did that job. I was Willard's last producer, actually.
Aw.
And we handed it over to Al Roker, which is how I know when Al Roker
Mm.
started doing it. And then I went and did basically like the equivalent of the Page program in DC on
Yeah.
news. So
Very
I
cool.
did like was working on, they rotate you on all the shows. So you do some stuff for the J Show, you do some stuff for Nightly, you're like at the White House, you go and do this.
Cool, honestly.
It was great. It just like burnt me out. Like I'm
Mhm.
not someone who will get to work at 4 a.m. You know, you
I
have
mean,
to
the
do that
hours
for
are
the
brutal.
MSNBC shows. Yeah. And then like I was also there in the lead up to the 2016 election. And when you're in DC, you're doing politics all the
Yeah.
time. And now this job is definitely taken over by AI. But when you're like a young in this program, they would make you do what they called verbating, where you'd watch every stump speech or every whatever, and you'd have to like type it as it's
Oh.
happening.
Oh, because they're
and
they're,
then
like,
pay
not
attention to see
anywhere, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And like pay attention to see if they're saying something newsworthy, and then you would have to report
Oh,
that.
wow.
Damn.
And now obviously like AI probably
Yeah.
transcribes
Yeah.
that. But like I had to watch every single Ted Cruz stump speech. And I hit a point where I was like,
I
this
can't
just
do
isn't
this.
for me. Like I
Um,
can't get to work at 3 a.m. anymore and watch Ted Cruz all day.
Yeah,
Like,
that'll do it. Yeah.
It'll definitely show you like what your passions
Yeah.
are,
Right.
and
What's
what
important
They
in
are. Like
life.
you know, like if you really like,
out.
if
I'm
you
out.
really, I don't know. I feel like news and journalism is such a passion job.
It
like
totally
it is. Like I
is.
feel like if you love, especially in politics, like in
Yeah.
DC, like there are some people like absolute
Mhm.
dream is to be like a White House reporter,
Yeah.
right? But like I think it shows you're like, no, this is just not worth it. Okay,
Yeah.
amazing. Like honestly, what an experience though. What a
It was
training ground,
amazing. Yeah.
right?
I mean, it's throwing you into the deep end, and
Mhm.
like it taught me a lot. It's the biggest corporation I ever worked for,
For
so
sure.
it taught me a lot of just like how to exist in an office with
For sure.
people way older than you, and
Yeah.
like just kind of the office politics of it was great. And then I really realized I wanted to do something more creative and be in media and kind of a more lifestyle capacity. So I moved up to New York and started working with digital publishers doing branded content. Like back in the day when branded content was like still something publishers did.
Yeah, not
Um,
TikTok.
Yeah, like
mean,
it was
you
like
worked at, like,
Refinery
Yeah, you went
29,
to
Yeah.
Refinery 29, right?
X like
Yeah.
Rimmel. We're like doing a
Mhm.
makeup like
Yeah.
video or whatever.
Or like,
So I
let's talk
did
about the
those.
celebrity and their like fitness routine and they're like
Yeah.
at solid core or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now that just doesn't exist
Mhm.
and digital media is dying, but like
Makes
um
sense.
I was there in the last final hurrah years. And then like I really just realized the company I worked at for a long time was in men's, and I just hit a point where I was like, it was like luxury men's, and I was like, I can't come up with another like watch campaign,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah.
I it's like, guys, I don't know how many more reasons I can like creative ways I can try to
Yeah.
sell you a watch. And
Yeah. It's also the same customer, right? Like I feel like luxury men's is like the same person. There's really
Yeah.
lack of diversity going on.
totally.
Yeah.
It's like finance dudes.
Who's like 40. They're
Yeah.
literally all like 35 to 55.
the same
Yeah,
haircut.
Same haircut.
And like their name is Brian for sure. And they're from Connecticut. Like honestly.
Fully.
Yeah.
that makes sense. That would
like-
burn me out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then so you're there and then did you kind of realize you didn't want to be in media anymore? So did you break out of that?
Yeah, I really didn't want to be in media. I'd always had this itch to like be in consumer,
Okay.
or like have a wellness product or do something that was like about feeling good. And like
Yeah.
I kind of had this kind of burgeoning thing where like I'd want to do that, but my family, like my mom was in news forever, like I said, my stepdad's an attorney, like my family was not they're not entrepreneurial and
Totally.
they don't really get it. And
Yeah.
they're like, my mom still would be like, well, do you have a pension?
And
And I'm like, literally no one has pensions.
That's not
Yeah,
how it
I don't-
works.
That doesn't exist
That's
anymore.
not a thing.
Like
Yeah.
Social Security's running out. We
Yeah.
don't have pensions.
Yeah.
Like,
We don't even get 401k match over here, Mom. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. That's like, yeah.
yeah. So there's very much like, it didn't feel like a possibility for me because I just hadn't seen it done.
Totally.
So I just kind of like stuck with the status quo for kind of as long as I could until I went nuts.
Yep.
And I like went on this path where like while I was still working full time, I like went and did my yoga teacher training. And then I like did this really intense like cycling thing and was just kind of like burning out my energy in other ways, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and like really figured out that probably like I loved yoga and I love teaching, but like real talk, I also like getting my hair highlighted and
Yeah.
expensive clothes, and like that's not a lifestyle that I can support. And
For
so
sure.
it's like, what can I do that like is the most basic thing that makes people feel good? And the answer to me was food, and that's like always something that I had been really interested in. So during the pandemic, I went and applied to get my master's in food studies at NYU and started doing remote masters with the goal of working in consumer food, like an early stage consumer.
And was that
And then-
master's like a food science?
Food
master?
studies. So it's
Okay.
actually super interdisciplinary. It's a really cool program because you get people who are like, they want to go into food policy. You
Oh,
get
interesting.
people who are chefs. You get people
Oh,
who
wow.
are food journalists. Like it's everyone kind of who's in food, and you have this like base where you have to do like policy, systems, culture, whatever, and then you can kind of make it whatever you want and like take classes anywhere in NYU.
It's pretty cool.
Very cool.
So it was awesome, and it just like really solidified me on this path.
Yeah.
And then like worked on a couple early stage brands, and then just like through networking found my business partner Lindsay.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And when you were like aiming to work in consumer, did you think you were going to start your own company, or were you thinking you were going to like go be an employee number one or chief of staff? Like, what was your
Yeah.
plan?
I always would love, like, I didn't have an idea.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I had the right idea, that'd be great. But I never had the right idea. And so I'd done like employee number one, employee number two, like consulting at really early stage things. And then when I met my business partner, she had this amazing idea, and she was like, it's called Alice. It's chocolate. Like, I've kind of been working on these couple things, but like I need a partner to help me, like, just to
Execute.
get it going.
Yeah.
And so it was the perfect marriage where I was like, I love this idea. This is great. And we just took it from there.
Well, it
That's
seems like
amazing.
wellness has always been a part of you though, growing up.
Yeah.
So did you also like take supplements in your normal life? Why mushrooms?
Yeah. Wellness, I wouldn't say was part of my life until probably like my mid-20s.
Mhm.
I was like very the other direction.
Well, I mean, you were working crazy hours, right? You were
Yeah.
running around DC. I mean, this is like such a theme with a lot of our founders we have on, right? It's like
Yeah.
they work a crazy corporate job, they're working crazy hours, their like health goes to the side, also in
Totally.
college, whatever. And then they're like, oh my God, I feel horrible. Like,
Yeah.
I'm stressed out, my skin is bad, like my stomach
Yeah.
hurts. Like,
Yeah.
what can I do to kind of help it? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. And I think it was like one of those things that initially drew me to mushrooms is like I actually fell in love with mushrooms from a culinary perspective.
Okay.
So the business I'd been working on before Alice was an on-demand meal kit with like very fresh local ingredients. And I did our sourcing for our mushrooms there, and I like fell in love with like these like interesting kind of mushrooms that are more than just your like regular buttons you get at the grocery store. And it just kind of set me on this path of like there's a lot here, and I like really liked the people who grew mushrooms. I just was really fascinated with it. And then when I met Lindsay, I started to like really dig in more into what functional mushrooms can do and how powerful they are, and like how they really do address the root causes of so many things we're treating like with band-aids. And I think they really represent an emerging space in wellness that is just like actual approachable and attainable long-term solutions for things that like we just kind of try and do quick fixes for.
Yeah.
Um
So, like, tell us about, I mean, obviously, I know you started with like sleep and focus and stuff, but like, what is a functional mushroom? Because when I think
Yeah.
of mushrooms, I'm like, I know they're like, I don't know, the like little oysters are in like my fettuccine,
Yeah.
or like I'm getting high. So I'm like, I'm assuming they're neither. So please
Yeah.
describe. And then two, tell us how like, I don't know, the sourcing of that mushroom sort of affects your body and like has that effect and how it
Totally.
has that impact.
Great question, because I feel like nobody understands what a functional mushroom. I get that question
Like
all the time.
I feel like I got it from context. I'm like, it's something that I don't know
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
So describe.
I'm a huge wellness person, so I take lion's mane every
Yeah.
morning and
Ooh.
reishi, but like I'm very different from
Yeah.
normal people. But it's like a pill form.
Yeah,
And of course, like I love a sweet treat, so Alice is
Yeah.
perfect because that marries it too. So
totally. So yeah, functional mushrooms, like the way I like to kind of contextualize it for people is to put 3 buckets of mushrooms. So you've got your like psychedelic mushrooms over here, you've got your culinary over here, and then functional kind of sit in the middle, right? So your psychedelic mushrooms have the compound psilocybin in them, which is what triggers the psychedelic experience.
hallucinations. Yeah.
Right. Psilocybin is not in functional mushrooms. It's like chemically
course.
impossible
It's,
for
like,
you.
Illegal to be selling them.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
But
At
people
Erewhon.
think it's like, they're like, oh, it's a microdose. I'm like, no.
no.
Like,
You're like, that's fully not legal. Like, number one.
you'd be surprised how many people think it's legal. They're like, oh, it's
Really?
legal now. And I'm like, what?
Mm.
It's a it's like
It's
a Schedule 1. Yeah.
like drug.
Yeah.
It's like a Schedule 1 narcotic. It's fully
Yeah.
not legal.
Like-
yeah. And like it also wouldn't be sold at like a
like
retail
on
chain.
Instagram and like Sprouts.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
would be like
I'm like,
yeah,
guys, we're
what?
at Target.
Really, guys, it's like really hard to sell like literally
At Whole
weed
Foods.
gummies. Like it's
Yeah.
illegal, pretty much. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
continue.
And yeah, right. So functional mushrooms sit in the middle where they don't have psilocybin in them, but like they can really help your body heal, right? Like that's
Okay.
the thing that people love about psychedelics is just like fast track to healing in a
Mhm.
lot of ways, right? And then culinary sits over here. Culinary mushrooms have a lot of great nutrients, but they're not in a way that will help you medicinally, right? They're
Mhm.
nutritious, but not medicinal, I would say. Then in the middle, you've got functional mushrooms that have various compounds that can help you in a like quote unquote medicinal way. And every functional mushroom is different. We actually only know of about 12, which is really
Okay.
interesting.
In the whole world?
Yeah.
Whoa.
But
Okay.
mycology is just like such an under
Mycology.
yes. the
Okay,
study
study
of
of mushrooms?
Oh, I
Cool.
love
I learned
So
a new word
cute.
today. Okay.
Yeah.
But mycology is like such an understudied field that I think, I mean, there's definitely way more
Mhm.
functional mushrooms out there that we've just never discovered. There's like millions of species of mushrooms that we don't know about yet. But you know, we've got around 12 that we work with. And they're amazing for like various things. And every functional mushroom is different. You don't have, it's not like, oh, I take an adaptogen because adaptogens help me do like adapt to stress. It's like some functional mushrooms are adaptogens. Like reishi, you said you take, is amazing for downregulating your nervous system, helping with stress levels. Reishi actually is an adaptogen in that way. It helps with healthy sleep cycles. It's so good for you. Also, immune support, it's great for. But then lion's mane works in a completely different way, where it actually has molecular compounds that are so light that they can get past your blood-brain barrier. And it's like one of the best things you can take for brain health.
Wow.
And there's so many studies of it being done as it relates to Alzheimer's and neurodegeneration.
Wow.
And so it like is amazing for your brain. Then cordyceps works by activating your blood oxygen levels so that you have more energy and your body's using your oxygen more efficiently. So it's like they all do very different things, which I think is unique and that some people miss out on. They're just like, oh, a functional mushroom, like that does one thing or whatever. So we use various functional mushrooms in all of our formulations. And then what was your second question?
I think you answered it. I was just like, how does it kind of affect your body? And
Oh,
the
you asked
answer-
about sourcing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
also did. Yeah, we can go there next. Where do one like also just to backtrack a little bit? How did your co-founder like discover these and like become inspired by it? Because I've personally never heard of this. This feels like a new category, so
Totally.
maybe somewhere not in the U.S. And also, I guess, how do you source these 12 functional mushrooms and create your product?
So Lindsay, her background is in pharmaceuticals.
Oh, that makes sense.
So
Okay.
she'd been in big pharma for a while and just was like, the stuff that I'm selling, I'm like really not passionate about. It all kind of like I was saying feels like a band-aid. Like, why aren't we addressing root cause? She like really kind of took this turn in the opposite direction to try and find natural alternatives. And the thing she was most impressed by were mushrooms. And I think the thing that has actually kept mushrooms a little bit out of the mainstream is like there's so many great mushroom brands out there. But they're really trying to, their delivery method is like a powder or a pill or a tincture. And it doesn't feel super accessible, I think, to the modern consumer. And the branding sometimes still feels a little bit like, oh, I have to have a kombucha mother brewing in my basement to like have this in my routine. And it's not something that you'd be like, oh, actually, I want to have this on my nightstand. So when people come over, like, you know, it's like a cute thing to have out. Or like I want our Brainstorm chocolate like on a trading desk in Wall Street and have it not feel weird out there, you know? So that was kind of the idea, is like, let's make it approachable, let's make it accessible, and like this thing that doesn't feel like it's from another world.
Or like
Mhm.
very medicinal, which like it
Yeah.
is medicinal, but this feels also more like a consumer brand. So
Yeah.
it like
Yeah.
is that. Okay.
Exactly.
And so then how did you start creating the product? So you meet Lindsay through like a friend or
Yeah.
something. And how did that sort of spark and how'd you guys go and start?
Yeah, I mean, the story is actually pretty funny because we met still during like COVID timing. And Lindsay, I like make fun of her about this because she was so pharma at that point. And so like her job was always just like in the car, on the phone, taking doctors to lunches, whatever. So she was like not in Zoom culture at all. So it was like I live in New York, she lived in LA. We met over the phone and we always just talked on the phone. And I like couldn't find her on Instagram, and I was like, who is this person?
You're like, is she
I was like,
fake?
can she go
Like,
camera
is she
on?
catfishing
Yeah.
me?
But we worked remote together for like 4 or 5 months before we ever
Wow.
met in person.
Oh wow.
And then she came to New York and we had a co-working day, and we are like, okay, like great, like we
This
vibe.
works.
Yeah, like we know for sure now that we've met in person. And we worked together for almost 2 years before we brought it to market. Just like
Wow.
getting the right manufacturer, getting sourcing. Like sourcing was the hardest thing
Mhm.
that we had to do because functional mushrooms, right? Like it's such an emerging and exciting space to be in. And that's great, but that also means that there's a lot of bad actors like trying to take advantage of people who are not educated and see dollar signs. So we were like getting samples from all these different sourcing suppliers, and like they were just so bad. And there's no like functional mushroom like regulatory body, right? That is like, this is how this should be. And that so we kept having to push because we like couldn't find a mushroom product that we were proud to sell. And then funny enough, I like went to a wedding with a buddy from college and like got seated next to a friend from college I hadn't talked to in years. And he'd been working on some cannabis stuff, and he knew a lot of people in herbals, and he was like, I think I have the woman for you. And we
Wow.
found this woman who has a network of farms under her, and she like, it's women owned, right? It's amazing. It's the most potent, pure functional mushroom product we've ever seen. She only uses fruiting body, which is the most potent part of the mushroom, and that has the bioavailable compounds that human bodies can absorb best. And it all just clicked into place at that point, and we were like, okay, all systems go. We got it.
Wow, that's
That's
awesome.
amazing.
And when did you start actually working on the idea? You mentioned you worked on it for 2 years before it went to market.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like during COVID.
During COVID. Yeah, I think Lindsay had the original idea in like 2020. And then we started working together like early 2021.
Wow, that's
And then
been
we
a while.
launched 2022,
Yeah.
fall of 2022.
And then how did you decide on chocolate? Because you mentioned there's pill, there's powder.
Yeah.
Did you ever think about doing something else? Is that
It was
maybe in the
always
future?
chocolate.
Yeah.
And I think it always will be chocolate.
Yeah.
We're both like picky, and we don't want to do anything like a motto for us since day one has been indulge, don't endure. Because I
Ooh.
think so much of wellness is like, hold on, like let me like hold my nose and knock this thing back.
Yeah.
Or it's like it feels like a chore. And it doesn't have to be. Like dark chocolate is good for you. Like we think of dark chocolate as an active ingredient in and of itself, right? Because it has antioxidants. It's so good for mood. It's like dark chocolate in the right amounts and like the right sourcing is amazing for you. And it's a great vehicle for supplements too, because like on the kind of the nerdy science side of things, dark chocolate is really dense. So you're able to pack a lot of supplement into one square. Whereas like what we put into one square of chocolate, it would take 8 gummies
Oh
to do.
wow.
So like
Wow.
if you look at a lot of these gummy brands, they're like,
Mhm.
take 6, take 7, you know, and you're like, what? Like I can't eat 7 gummies right now. So dark chocolate has that advantage. And I think it's just like a treat. It's something that most people are
Mhm.
already doing every day and look forward to. And I think also accessibility, right? Because I think functional mushrooms are still a little bit fringe, even though we're
Mhm.
working very hard um, to make them more mainstream. But I think it's a lot easier to ask someone to try something new and to bring something new into their life when it looks and feels a lot like something they already have.
Totally.
And I think that has all, like, there's so many reasons why chocolate. I mean, I talked about this a little bit, but the bioavailability, right? Like if you're taking something in a capsule, that doesn't start to break down in your system until it gets to your small intestine. And at that point, you can maybe get 10% absorption. Whereas if you're chewing your supplements, that nutrient absorption starts in your mucous membrane and your saliva as you chew. So you can get up to like 85% absorption.
Wow.
So there's just like so many reasons. It's just the cleanest, the best tasting, the most, just like, it just makes sense.
Yeah. And how did you kind of think about education and marketing? As you said, this is a new category, and back in 2021, like I think now there's a lot more like lion's mane coffee and more emphasis on these kind of wellness products. But back then, it was definitely, you were probably the only one in the market, right? And even now,
You know, the coffees actually all preceded us. So they definitely paved the way. So we owe a lot to the education work that they did, because they did a lot of heavy lifting of getting people to understand like a chagachino, you know? But I think that we came out with, you know, like I was saying, like a really accessible and eye-catching brand. And I think that like you really can't underestimate how important brand is, because if something looks super appealing and super aspirational, like people will click it and they will do the work to educate themselves a little bit. And so we just spent so much time trying to nail down brand before we launched that we came out of the gate looking super trustworthy, super appealing. Like our website was, like, I would say that probably more than most pre-launch brands that don't have venture backing, we spent like way more on web design and photo shoots and branding than like most people do. But I think it paid off in spades for us, because it was like the second people saw it, they could have been like, oh, this is like a mushroom, this is like kind of weird, but it looked really legit. And we just did as much education as we could. Like we had a full glossary on our website when we launched that was like, here are all the words in functional mushrooms that you might not know what they mean. Like here's a accessible way to break those down and educate. We do a lot of education just like on our PDPs and in paid advertising. But it's an ongoing thing.
Yeah. And do you feel the effects right when you take it, or do you have to keep taking it?
Yeah, so
multiple
that
times?
is the kind of beauty of how we formulate. So all of our chocolates are designed to be daily supplements. That's how they're going to work best. Like I said, functional mushrooms, you need to take a medicinal dose for like at least a month to allow the nutrients time to compound in your body and start working. So they're long-term solutions, right?
Yeah.
But like we're all so instant gratification minded at this point that that's why we blend the functional mushrooms with fast acting ingredients. So in our sleep chocolate, for example, there's reishi mushroom. That's going to help your sleep cycles regulate over time. But there's magnesium, chamomile, L-theanine, and zinc. And those are all things you're going to feel on night 1, on night 2, on night 3 that will immediately start improving your sleep. So all of our chocolates are formulated like that to have a little bit of like, hey, there's a little bit of now, but there's a lot of later.
Yeah. And when you originally like heard about the idea from Lindsay, had you ever taken a functional mushroom before? Like, was this a completely new idea to you? And like, what sparked you is like to be inspired by it?
Yeah, totally. I wasn't on a functional mushroom regimen. No.
Yeah.
I literally, I was eating a lot of mushrooms.
Yeah.
In a culinary way, and I was like playing with a lot of like unique culinary mushrooms.
Totally,
and,
because
like,
you were in food,
yeah.
like you're literally in food studies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I like wasn't on a daily functional mushroom regimen. And it was frankly because I had like read so much about them. I was like, seems awesome. But I couldn't endure any of the products.
No, for
it's very
sure.
That were out
intimidating
there.
too.
For sure.
Well, it's like I'm not gonna mix a powder. Like I'm just
Yeah.
not. And I'm
Yeah.
not gonna
Yeah.
like put a tincture under my tongue and hold it for 15 seconds and then, you know, like
Yeah.
I'm lazy. Like I
For sure.
needed something that felt easy.
Yeah. 100%. And I do think when like when functional mushrooms first came out, like I feel like the main thing I heard of was like the coffees. It was
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
like Silicon Valley, like bro.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like it was
Super biohacker.
It was
Yeah.
very biohacker. It felt kind of like, you know, the same sort of category of like longevity, etc., which was not really targeted to your target market, which feels like
Right.
very fun, feminine consumer. It feels like more it's similar to a gummy or something like
Yeah.
that, or a supplement or like Array versus and like more just general health versus
Yeah.
like longevity,
Right.
which is like different.
Totally.
Yeah. And because of like obviously your background in digital media, how did that influence kind of your investment, obviously, in the brand, and how did kind of this brand come to life?
Yeah. I mean, I think that like the biggest thing we took from the beginning was like treat your brand like you're a digital publishing house.
Mm.
And I think that that is like every brand has to do that now. Like you have to be a source of content, you have to be a source of education. And so we knew that like from pre-launch. And so I think that really helped us. But we spent so much time getting the brand voice and the brand visuals down. We worked with some amazing folks pre-launch who helped us like basically do like brand therapy where we like sat down and thought about, okay, if Alice drove a car, what type of car would she drive? And if Alice, what books does Alice have on her
Mm.
nightstand? And what concerts has she been to? And does she hike? And does she da, da, da? And it was really helpful because before we did any brand copywriting, before we did anything like that, we already had this complete picture of who she was, how she spoke, what she did. Like it made then executing on everything feel really seamless because she was a fully formed entity.
Yeah. And like obviously probably your target customer too. I mean, I love
Yeah.
the like allusion to Alice in Wonderland, of course, but
Yeah.
it's good. And how when you were actually formulating the product, like what was that process? I'm sure it was very complicated.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. You taste a lot of really bad tasting
Because
stuff.
mushrooms taste pretty strong, like a
Mushrooms
lot
stir
of the
dirt.
time,
Yeah, it's like
right?
a very earthy kind of like dirt
Yeah.
taste.
Mhm.
And
Cho-
you have very clean products, like no sugar and things like that,
we
right?
have 1 gram of organic cane per
Okay.
square.
Okay.
And so it's super low sugar. But it's a very clean ingredient label. I mean, when you're formulating like we formulate, where we're formulating for taste and function, it's a different beast. Whereas if we're formulating just a capsule, it's like just function. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter. So there's a lot of ingredients that we'll play with, and we have to be like, okay, like that one is effective, but it tastes like ass. So no. And then this one, so like what is something that is comparable to it that doesn't have that? Or can we, use that, but in an amount that it doesn't spoil the batch? Like, so you're always kind of doing this Goldilocks approach of like, okay, this one really worked, but tasted bad, or this one didn't work and tasted really good. And how do we kind of keep working that to get something that does both?
Yeah.
So I would say when we start formulating, it's probably almost a year
wow.
for us to get that done.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine. It seems like a very difficult task.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of
Yeah.
ingredients is also a completely new category. Like, how would you find a manufacturer to do this?
Yeah.
You finally found like your woman in the farm, which is
Yeah.
like amazing. Like, honestly, wow. So that's good. How did you find someone to manufacture it? And two, and like when you're testing it, don't want crazy volume, etc.
Yeah, I mean, Google. Like
Yeah.
chocolate
Trial and error.
Yeah.
factories near me. No, literally it was just cold calling.
Wow.
Wow.
And we found this great manufacturer that 5th generation chocolatiers, and they were willing
Wow.
to take a chance on us.
Wow.
Yeah, it was awesome. It worked out exactly, I think, as it was supposed to.
That's
I
amazing.
love that.
And then you launch. I also say the packaging is amazing. How'd you
It's
come up
so
with the
cute.
tin?
Yeah.
I think
I
it's
love the tin.
and the mat is really cute.
That was all Lindsay.
Okay.
She really wanted this like almost like think of like Coca-Cola, where it's like you have that sound of when you open
Mm.
it's
Mhm.
just like
Yeah.
that feeling. And so when you like open our tins, like I'll do a little ASMR for you.
Yes.
But it's like you get this
Like
Oh, it's very like
satisfying click.
sleek. Yeah.
it's a little clip.
I love that.
And it's like that click even just like made me feel like, oh, okay,
Yeah, it's time for
Part of
and
your
just something
routine,
that's
I guess.
tactile. And I think
Mhm.
just this is easy to throw in your bag. It
Yeah.
goes with you. It
Yeah.
looks nice to have out. It's just so unique.
Yeah.
It is.
That I think it's done really well in retail. It stands out on shelf.
Yeah.
It's not like anything else.
It's not like anything else.
Yeah.
And it's not really reminiscent of a wellness fitness product. It's kind of reminiscent of like a mint or
Yeah.
a treat or like part of your routine, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so you finally get to your first batch, which was sleep or focus.
Both.
Okay.
We launched with both of them.
When did you launch officially?
October 20th, 2022.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
been a
congrats.
while.
Yeah.
And how did that go? What'd you guys do?
It was great. We did my business partner, she's in Venice Beach in LA. And so I went out there and we Did a launch party the day we launched at this funny little like art studio in Venice that went super late. Lindsay is in her past life was a DJ, so she
That's
DJ'd the
amazing.
party. It was
Wow.
super fun. And we had like a really big first day. And I think that to me showed me that like we were on to something. I had worked at other early stage businesses before, and my friends were all like, "Oh, that's really cool." Like, they were like, "Do you want?" Like, none of my friends ever bought the product, right? They were like obviously supporting me or my friends, but they were like, "That's not where my dollar's going." And it was like the day we launched Alice, like everyone I knew bought it.
Wow.
That's really
And I
cool.
was like, okay, like this is product market fit. Like
Yeah.
this is something people want. And Lindsay's community was the same. And it was this like amazing show of support on day one that I still feel so grateful to have had. And yeah, we were kind of off to the races after that.
Were you
Love
guys
that.
still having do you guys still have full-time jobs at the time?
Um, I like we both had kind of like part-time things on
Okay.
the side. And
Yeah.
then after about a month, it was like full
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And I
amazing.
guess in the past 3 years, you've launched 2 other products. You've
Three.
three other
Yeah.
products. Yeah. You've obviously built a company. You've built a following. 2025 was a really big year for you. You got into a lot of retail stores. So
Yeah.
kind of tell us about, I guess, distribution.
Yeah, we were mostly e-com. We launched all D2C, but pretty quickly there was a lot of retail interest. So we didn't say no to it, and we built out over the first 2 years, probably like 1,000 specialty like boutiques. Like the cool corner shop and the curated little wellness store and coffee shops.
In LA and New York.
All over the country. So we were shocked. Yeah, like probably in almost every state. At some
Wow.
like kind of cool store, right? Which I think was a great strategy for us because it got people used to seeing us outside of the internet. It was a nice way to kind of show up in really curated places that gave us a lot of brand trust. And it also taught us a lot, just like early kind of retail stuff. And then we launched an Erewhon. And then that kind of like the ball was rolling after that. And we're in a bunch of like great kind of local chains around the country, but like our big national partners that we rolled out this year was first Sprouts, and then Target, and then Whole Foods.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's amazing. And I feel like you really are like defining this category, honestly. But as you continue to grow, like where else do you see you guys going? I know you said you'll always be chocolate, you'll always be mushroom
Yeah.
based, but there's like kind of some limits with what functional mushrooms can even do or the options. So like where else do you want to kind of affect health and wellness and our
Yeah.
routine?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways that there's so many more functions that we can tackle. And I think we're really passionate about that. I think we really love women's health. And so I think that's a place you'll start seeing us show up more. And like beauty. I think now more than ever, right? Like wellness is being lumped in with beauty, and it's
Mhm.
kind of becoming one and the same. And we're showing up in a lot of the same places as a lot of beauty brands. And so I think we are really passionate about that path for us and that future. And I think just the whole wellness industry and the beauty industry coming together in a way that we feel really excited and poised to be at the beginning of.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's obviously, I feel like obviously relatively new, just a newer kind of holistic view of health and like hormone balance, especially with like women's health being even just put at the forefront, which it wasn't for
Yeah.
centuries.
Yeah.
And it's like way too recent. So
Yeah.
that's really, really exciting. What of your so you started with sleep and focus, and then
Yeah.
what are all five? You have five right now?
Yeah. we
Okay,
have
what are
5.
they?
A year and change after we launched, we rolled out Happy Ending, which is our sexual wellness
Okay.
chocolate. 9 aphrodisiacs in there, formulated.
Ooh.
It's for all genders.
Okay.
1 square daily for sexual wellness. Take like 3 before sexual experience. That's how you get the like
Ooh.
immediate effect. 1 won't have you being like a menace or anything because it's your daily bite. But 3, like, do what you need to do. Then we launched Party Trick, which is our social lubricant.
Okay.
Which is our non-alcoholic party alternative. Sober friendly. It's got a bunch of ingredients in there that boost mood by activating your serotonin, L-DOPA, and GABA receptors. And it's a really fun way to like not drink, or
Yeah.
maybe drink a little bit less and have something that you can bring to the party and share and like a lot of times we felt like when we went through phases of not drinking or going out and being sober curious, that it's kind of isolating.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, well, I'm over here with my special drink
Yeah.
and I can't share,
Yeah.
and this is something that everyone can partake in. And so we wanted something that felt really inclusive. It also has Pop Rocks in it.
Ooh,
So
fun.
so
It's fun.
I will say too, it's probably great. Like sometimes you just have events that you would love a drink at, but you can't. Like a work
Yeah.
event or something, or like a public speaking
Yeah.
event or conference or a network, and it's like honestly a glass of wine to really smooth a lot of these like
Yeah.
social
Yeah.
anxiety. But you obviously can't do that, and
Yeah.
so it's like nice to be able to do that. It's kind of a good balance. Yeah.
Totally. And then in November we rolled out Zen X, which is our
Ooh.
stress relief chocolate.
Ooh.
Okay.
So that's the blue one. It's amazing. Like take it at any time of day or night. It's like so good for just like I call it like meditation in a chocolate.
Wow.
Does it have,
Because
like ashwagandha in it?
it does not have ashwagandha. We have, let me pull up the panel. We have reishi, tremella, L-theanine, kanna, rhodiola, saffron, and magnesium.
Mm.
Ooh.
So it's super well rounded for like mood boosting, with also like magnesium for just like full body relaxation. And then still like keeping you clear. I think that was the most important thing for us because like I was like, this is something that I want to take during the workday when I'm like feeling overwhelmed, but not feel like I just knocked myself out.
Yeah.
So it's really formulated that's where it's different from our sleep chocolate, right? It's
Mm.
like relaxing ingredients that are non-drowsy.
Okay. In an ideal customer world, like, are you taking all of these daily?
All of them daily.
Really?
Yeah.
And just at different points. So do
Yeah.
you take them all daily?
Of course.
You do? Okay, so what's your routine?
I do Brainstorm like first.
So that's focus.
Yes, focus.
Okay.
That's like
Mhm.
around 9 or 10 a.m.
Okay.
I'm a late riser.
Oh, me too. No.
And then around lunchtime, I'll have happy ending because that one doesn't matter as much when you take it because like the one square daily is more like not instant effects.
Got
it.
So that's like a little sweet treat.
So it's like is it like hormone
Yeah.
targeted? Okay, that's
Mhm.
awesome.
And then I take Zen X kind of at any point in the afternoon. And then I will take Party Trick. That one I don't take as much like every day, but it's great. Like even at just like 6 if 7 if you're logging off and like
Yeah.
instead of your like glass of wine, like
Yeah.
subbing that in. And then I'll take that like you like when you do take it to go out, you want to take maybe up to 4. So I'll like plow through those on the weekend.
Mm.
And then nightcap before sleep.
Amazing. And are they okay to mix with like other medication or alcohol?
Alcohol, yes, but like I'm not a doctor.
No,
so-
for sure. Well, I don't know, but I'm trying to think. Cause like I don't know, a lot of people take like Adderall or something. And it's kind of like,
Yeah.
is focus supposed to like replace it, or is it a good
A
like
lot of
balance?
people use it to instead of Adderall.
Yeah.
Like people who are trying to get off their Adderall use it.
Yeah.
But you can, like I know people who stack it with their Adderall.
Mhm.
People take it with coffee or instead of coffee. They take it like it's gentle enough to like be stacked with other things, but powerful enough that it can replace other things.
That's awesome. That's honestly that's
Love it.
great. Incredible. And which one is your favorite? If you had to pick one.
Honestly, I like Zen X.
Yeah.
I think it's the best tasting one that we have. They all
Ooh.
have different taste profiles.
But they're all dark chocolate.
They're all dark chocolate. But this one, it's just like it really just hits the spot for me. And it just like I love that I can just like take it in the afternoon and like kind of just like lower my shoulders a little bit. Like anything stress relief, I'm like
Yeah.
in.
I can't wait to take it tomorrow.
I know.
at
I'm like,
work.
oh my God. I was like, that sounds like me and Sola need a bucket of it at all
Yeah.
times. So you're not okay.
Yeah.
Subscription.
Honestly, all of
Yeah.
New York City needs it.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe
Right?
we should put it in the water.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I vote.
literally.
And you guys are growing so fast.
Yeah.
Obviously scaling. You've obviously had such a big year. And you've done this all bootstrapped, right? You've not raised.
No,
Okay,
we've
no,
raised.
you raised. Okay, okay.
Mhm.
That would be great. I mean,
I don't know. I
Yeah,
know
8
you didn't raise for a
employees.
while.
Yeah.
You
Great.
didn't raise for a while.
no, we've raced since day one.
Oh wow. Okay. I'm
Yeah.
wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, yeah, we've closed our Series A actually in May of this year.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
thank you.
amazing.
Thank you.
And what are your plans for your capital and growth and kind of continue?
I mean, retail is an expensive
Yeah.
thing to do.
Mhm.
So retail growth is like really what we're doing. Team growth. I mean, like I said, we started the year with just like a couple folks, and now we're a team of 9.
Oh my God.
And we're just expanding kind of in every possible way. It's just like growing out.
Mhm.
So it's just growth, growth, growth in every sense of it.
Do you ever foresee yourself outside of the US?
You
Or are there
know,
like laws?
no, I mean it's legal everywhere in the world. The only thing that's stopping us is bandwidth. I think like the thing that like when it talks about like laws is every country has different regulations for how you need your label done, what ingredients have to be classified in XYZ way. And exporting overseas and like putting a bunch of chocolate on a boat is like not the best use of money, right? This is expensive and kind of heavy and it has to be temperature controlled. So like realistically we'd have to go into Europe or wherever or South America, find a manufacturing facility there, like put everything in French and then also Spanish and in German. And it's like
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
it's like let's just win in America
Yeah.
first.
Yeah. And
Next
put
5 years.
your ads in
Yeah.
also German and Spanish
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
French,
that's a
and also
lot.
go into
Yeah.
their retail chains which are different. It's a lot.
There's definitely like appetite over there,
Yeah.
but it's just I mean it's a building from ground zero again.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, then again, you guys have done so much in 3 years. Not even 3, like 3.5, which is amazing. Like I can't believe where you are. So impressive. And anything you are super excited for in 2026?
Oh man. I mean, I think it's just like continuing to see us in real life. Like I love retail. I think it's so much fun and we're expanding our assortment at Sprouts and like continuing to grow at all of our retailers and opening new ones. And I think like that to me has been the most exciting thing. It's like it's one thing to like see your product on a page on the internet and it's another thing to like walk into a Target and be like, whoa.
Yeah.
So continuing to just like build that out.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I am so excited for you. Such an amazing, amazing product. I think I need to try it. It needs to be like part of my new routine. Should we do a taste test?
Yeah.
Let's
Which
do
one
it.
do you recommend? Should we do different ones?
I would either do our sleep chocolate since
Okay.
it's nighttime,
Okay.
or we could do a Zen X, or you
Okay.
could do a happy ending, or you could do all of them.
I'm gonna do a Zen because
Wow.
God knows I need more of that in my life.
Yeah.
God knows anyone you ever ask.
I need Zen too.
Jeez. Okay. I'm so excited. It's so cute. I love this
It's
color
so
blue as
cute.
well.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, it's a little like robin's egg.
Yeah.
I just fun fact, I was Alice in Wonderland for Halloween for like every year of my life.
No way.
I love Alice in Wonderland. Yes, like she's my spirit animal, I wish. Okay. We're doing our little ASMR thing. And while we do this,
Cute.
our question we always end on, we have a lot of young listeners, early 20s women. What advice would you give a young person looking to start their own company?
I think just like be fearless isn't the right word because I'm scared constantly. But like be scared and just do it and like dive in head first. I think you just have to be kind of delusional.
Yeah.
Like I think like that is the
Totally.
advice that I would just like be delusional in like a way that serves you. And I even tell myself that now because I think when you start to like grow and scale a little bit, you get into a world where you're like, well, this is possible and this isn't what's possible. And I think the beauty of entrepreneurship and like entrepreneurs who really succeed are people who like don't see the word impossible as a
Mhm.
thing. And I think I admire this so much. My business partner, like, no doesn't exist. And like, if it's not there, I'll make it and we can figure it out. And I think, yeah, it's like, be delusional.
Feel it? Yeah. I love that.
Manifestation is real.
Yeah.
It
For
is real.
sure.
It totally is.
Yeah.
Also, I think what we've heard too is like a no isn't a no. It's just a not yet sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can always push it. That's amazing. Well, let's try our little Zen. Wait, I'm so excited.
We're excited.
I literally love
Haven't
love
tried that
chocolate.
one.
This one has almost like a nutty, like truffly.
Ooh.
I love it so much.
Oh, it's so good. It just tastes like chocolate.
Wait, I want to try.
Wow, it's fire.
Pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah, the texture of it just rocks.
It's so cute. It has a little mushroom.
Yeah.
That's
I love that.
amazing.
I love them.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah, it literally just tastes like chocolate. And I love
Yeah.
dark chocolate.
Same.
This is
It's
really
a
good
core
dark
food group
chocolate.
for me.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So yummy.
Yeah.
Really impressed.
I'm so glad you like it.
Well, thank you so much for coming on,
Yeah,
Charlotte.
of
Where can we
course.
find you?
You can find us on Instagram at alice.mushrooms. That's also our TikTok. Alicemushrooms.com online. And then I've said it like a million times. So like
Mhm.
Sprouts, Target, Whole Foods, and probably like a cool store near you.
Mhm.
And D2C, right? On your website?
Oh yeah. AliceMushrooms.com.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for
And
coming.
Amazon.
Oh, and
Ooh,
Amazon.
Look at that.
We love. Well, thank you so
Nationwide.
much for coming on, Char. This was amazing. So excited to make this part of my routine. And everyone, thank you so much for listening. As always, you can find us at Womansplain Pod on all socials, and please email us at hello@womansplainpod.com for any questions. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you. Eat
Great.
Alice.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.